Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Deontay's first round knockout of, Dominic Breazeale is actually meaningless in the grand scheme of things. I've been having a lot of fanboys comment, on Deontay Wilder's recent performance against, Dominic Breazeale. And while I think it was an interesting performance, I give Deontay Wilder credit for beating Dominic Breazeale, but it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It means nothing in his career. It means nothing in reality. In reality, it's a meaningless fight. And this is why it's a meaningless fight. A lot of people are saying, oh, he knocked him out in the first round and Anthony Joshua knocked him out, in the seventh round. He did it quicker than Anthony Joshua. That's meaningless. And let me tell you why that's meaningless. And that shows the true nature of a casual fan and someone who doesn't understand or know boxing. Anthony Joshua fought Dominic Breazeale about 3 years ago. And when he fought him about 3 years ago, Dominic Breazeale was undefeated and had never been knocked out. And so at the end of the day, Dominic Breazeale was a better version of himself. And pretty much Anthony Joshua dominated him and stopped him. Styles do make fights. And then after the Dominic Breazeale fight, Anthony Joshua improved over the next year and then went on to face Vladimir Klitschko the following year. Then he went on to face an undefeated world champion in Joseph Parker, and then, a pretty good top-level fighter in Alexander Povetkin. So you have to look at it like this. Anthony Joshua has continuously improved against, who he was at that time. So you can't even compare the two. That makes no sense. The fact that anyone would compare that shows that they're casual. Shows that you're a true casual because you don't understand another sport of boxing. Deontay Wilder had an incredible first round knockout against, Romain Stavern. Prior, he had went, the distance with Romain Stavern. A lot of people say, oh, this shows you how good Fury is. At the end of the day, Fury is a very disciplined fighter. Fury is not going to drop his hands. Fury is not going to deviate from his game plan. Tyson Fury is an elite level fighter. Anthony Joshua is an elite level fighter. You cannot hold this fight in perspective and say, hey, this is what would happen in this situation. It is absolutely meaningless. You face a guy like Dominic Breazeale, who's a notoriously slow starter at the beginning of fight. You face a Dominic Breazeale, and who have already stated that, who has a puncher's chance in this fight, who could have upset the apple cart, but it all comes down to his discipline. He's never been disciplined defensively. So how can you be, disciplined defensively when the first thing you do when you're given the opportunity, you drop your hands and leave your chin exposed? These are mistakes you can't make against Deontay Wilder. Everyone who's fought Deontay Wilder in the past, who's had some success, Tyson Fury, Luis Ortiz, were more disciplined than that. So this isn't some big award that Deontay Wilder should be applauded for stopping Dominic Breazeale in the first round. Dominic Breazeale has never been a world champion. Dominic Breazeale has never been an elite level or top level fighter. Dominic Breazeale has not proven anything to anyone to get some type of, acclaim to say, hey, this is a top level fighter in his name. Dominic Breazeale is a decent fighter. That is it. Dominic Breazeale has never been a world champion. Never been an elite level, top level fighter. Dominic Breazeale has never done anything in his career to make him say, hey, this is a guy you beat. This sends a statement. That was no statement being sent, because Dominic Breazeale was already Anthony Joshua's leftovers. Dominic Breazeale was already, on Anthony Joshua's table before he even fought Vladimir Klitschko. Anthony Joshua already stopped Dominic Breazeale. And Anthony Joshua was levels above now where he was then. That fight was a meaningless fight for Deontay Wilder. It proved nothing. It didn't unify a belt. It didn't move us closer to any fights. And it didn't show us anything that we didn't already know. We already know Deontay Wilder's a one-trick pony who has a big right hand and nothing else. We already know that. We already know that Dominic Breazeale is a seriously flawed fighter who drops his hands too much and has too many defensive deficiencies for the heavyweight division to beat a guy like Deontay Wilder. That's why no one picked Dominic Breazeale to win this fight. You have to be honest and unbiased when you analyze it. At the end of the day, this is a completely meaningless fight for Deontay Wilder. In the grand scheme of things, only fanboys will applaud it. Once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.